All right. So let's talk about our Clash 15 paddle lineup. We have the Clash 15 Pro and we have the Clash 15 All Court. When you're looking at these paddles on paper, they look almost identical. The lengths are the same, the widths are the same, the handle length is the same, the static weight on the paddle is the same, the swing weight's the same, the twist weight's the same. So what's the difference? Because when I swing the paddles right here, they feel the exact same. However, when you start playing with these paddles, that is where they really do change. And if you're wondering at this point too what the difference is between our Clash paddle versus our Havik paddle, we have other videos for this. So this video is specific to our Clash paddle lineup. So like I said, both the paddles, same dimensions, same weights, same specs, but really what it comes down to is when you get under the hood of these paddles, the materials that they're built with, the cores, they change the playability of the paddles to further emphasize what certain players are looking for. So starting with our Clash 15 Pro paddle, this is made of a carbon Kevlar blend. And the reason being is that this paddle is really built to emphasize pop and power out of high level players. We really recommend these paddles for players that are a 4.5 duper rating and above. And the reason being is that when you get to a paddle like this that really emphasizes pop and power, you really want to make sure that your shots are really dialed in, because the forgiveness or the sweet spot is going to be slightly smaller on these paddles. So if you're not really comfortable and haven't been playing long enough, you are going to hit off-center shots that are going to be less forgiving. On this paddle, once you kind of dive under the face material, we have what we call a P3 polypropylene core, which is a slightly smaller cell size than our All Court paddle. And that is, like I said, just to emphasize or to make the paddle play with more pop and power. Now, when we talk about the ratings of this paddle, we're talking about, about an 8 out of 10 power rating. Your pop rating is going to be about the same, about an 8 out of 10, but then the control goes down to about a 6 out of 10. And that doesn't mean that the paddle doesn't have control, because it does have a lot of control. However, you do lose some of the control of the paddle because of the stiffer face opposed to our All Court paddle. So when we get into the All Court paddle, this paddle is made 100% of T700 carbon fiber. Carbon fiber plays as a little bit softer material versus the carbon Kevlar blend, and because of that, this paddle is going to have more forgiveness. It's going to feel more control oriented. The sweet spot's going to feel slightly larger. And you might be thinking, well, that's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't I pick this paddle? And it really comes down to your play style. The Pro paddle, like I said, is really built for the higher level players that really want to hit a lot of pop and a lot of power off the face of the paddle. This All Court paddle is an amazing all-around paddle. It still has a lot of pop and a lot of power, and let's not get confused. This is not a control paddle by any means. It is just more control oriented than our Pro level paddle. When you dive under the face sheets of this paddle, you're going to get into a P2 polypropylene core, slightly larger polypropylene core versus our Pro paddle, which again just makes it, gives it a little bit more forgiveness, and it gives it a little bit softer feel. When we talk about the ratings of this paddle, we're in general going to say that the power on this All Court paddle is about a 6 out of 10. The pop is about a 6 out of 10. And then your control goes up to about an 8 out of 10. And again, I want to emphasize, this is not a control paddle. Just in our paddle lineup, it is more control oriented than our Pro paddle. At the end of the day, not one of these paddles is better than the other. I always tell people that, just because one has more pop and one power, one has more control, doesn't make either of them a better paddle. You have to really understand who you are as a player and what you need to determine what paddle you get. So in general, I would say that if you're below a 4.0 duper rating or a newer player, I think that the All Court paddle is in general a much better paddle for you, versus if you're above about a 4.5 duper rating, the Pro paddle is a really good paddle that is going to give you more pop and power at those higher levels. Hope that helps you guys out. If you guys need any other information, please feel free to reach out.